Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another game of StarCraft 2. Today we have in the top right spawn in as the red Terran player playing for Team Liquid. It is Kelazhur. And in the bottom left spawning as the yellow Protoss player, it's going to be Nina, the American Protoss player. I'm not quite sure what team she plays for. Storm Gaming, there we go. So we see Kelazhur opening up with a proxy barracks here. This is a particularly tricky location as well to fight off as a Protoss. Even if you do find it, very often the SCV moves in such locations that it is very difficult to actually fight that SCV. Make sure that you can kill that SCV. Nina isn't going to scout whatsoever around her base, which means that the barracks will go up. There is no Reaper wall either here. So this could potentially be trouble here for Nina. Double gas opener for Kelazhur as a follow-up as well. So we'll see most likely 2 Reapers. And I think in this case Nina actually needs to open up with a Zealot before Nexus. But because she doesn't scout in time, the Nexus will go down before the Zealot. And I do believe that our Protoss player might be in a little bit of trouble here. So the pylon goes down in the natural. Which means that, well, technically you could still get a Zealot right now. Then you need the Chrono boost, but your Adept would be delayed. Or your Stalker would be delayed. So that would be painful no matter what. Bit of a delay there on the factory. Like, well, a bit. What's that? There's like a 15-second delay on the factory there. That is extremely bad actually out of Kelazhur. For no real reason. Just completely forgets his factory. Kind of sloppy. We'll get in with this Reaper and should be able to kill 1 or 2 workers minimum. If Kelazhur decides to micro. Well, doesn't really want to dive too deep. Now dives too deep, but I'm not quite sure if this is the timing. Yeah, well, it's still fine. He's very wary of that Stalker popping out. Does end up getting 3 workers, which means that this Proxy Reaper 100% was worth it. Now, of course, with that factory being delayed, it's still not absolutely ideal. I think that SCV should stay close to the bunker, actually, so it can repair that bunker. There's no space whatsoever here for a battery, which means that this bunker should just go up. I really believe that it's vital that this SCV stays there. I think you might actually... I'm not sure if you kill the Nexus, but you can definitely do a lot of damage and force a bit more of a reaction out of these Stalkers. Perhaps even kill a Stalker. Not a great fan of how Kelazhur has been playing so far this game. Widowmine is going to be rallied down. Follow-up will be a starport. As this bunker does end up getting salvaged, Kelazhur pulls ahead in the worker count by 1. CC is not quite done yet though, so there's still some time for Nina to catch up in that worker count. To make sure that her mining is going to be better than Kelazhur's. At the same time, we have a second barracks on the way here for Kelazhur. And the tech lab should start soon after this medevac on the starport. Third barracks also goes down, so we have a robotics facility for Nina. I know Nina is a big fan of disruptor drops and colossi drop. I'm curious to see if that is still the case, or if perhaps we'll see something slightly different here. 2 Reapers trying to pop in should not be capable of doing anything. I'm actually a huge fan of keeping these Reapers alive, as they can provide a little bit of a distraction once this Widowmine tries to go in. So this Widowmine, yeah, it's actually just hitting kind of late, honestly. For a double gas build, this is a sad timing. This actually is a really sad timing. It's gonna hit at like 420, which is almost the timing of a regular like marine reactor type of drop. This is actually really late. There's going to be at least 1 extra warp in as well. So there'll be 4 Stalkers total. Let's see what the response is going to be out of Nina. Well, needs to pull away the workers for sure. There's no blink as it's a robo follow-up. I think 2 probes might end up falling here. Yep, 2 probes will go down. Stalker also will fall and 2 mines will make it out alive together with the medevac. That's a pretty decent trade. At the same time, the Reapers went into the natural. I really do like this trade for Kelazhur. Kelazhur in a powerful position here. And here comes the prism that I was talking about. And we'll see a potential Colossi drop. Maybe even just a Disruptor drop. Could also be possible. There is enough gas though for a Colossi. Not quite enough supply perhaps soon. If probe production continues and maybe if a single warp in happens here. Yeah, pylon needs to be built very quickly. Yeah. Warp in and now there's no supply. I think this should almost be a disruptor drop just because of that. Now it's going to be a queued up Colossi. Pylon will finish up and we're on 3 gas here for the Protoss player. At the same time, the Terran is, well, it's also in 3 gas, 37 workers. Pretty decently sized supply block here as well, by the way. Holy crap. Mechanically, this hasn't been the game. Another supply block? Okay, well, second depot will unblock that, but this hasn't been the tightest game mechanic-wise. I'm a little bit surprised by that. I find Kelazhur one of the quicker players whenever I watch him play. So he can make this type of elementary errors, while honestly not a whole lot is going on. It's kind of surprising. Here comes the Colossi though, 6 minutes in. And this Colossi will need to do something. Another supply block, you see that? Now 2 more depots are gonna be going down. But yeah, this just hasn't been a great game. It really hasn't been. So now this medevacs are also supply block again, and it's actually just becoming a bit painful at this point. Going from supply block into supply block into supply block. The Colossi comes out of that prism and starts taking out workers here. Good control so far out of Nina. Bunch of SCPs get blasted down. 3, 4. She's gonna drop on top of this tank. And not the biggest fan of that. There's a lot of marauders close by. Also marauder in that bunker, of course. It can't really be anticipated, because which madman would put a marauder in the bunker? Well, apparently Kelazhur. Same time, Kelazhur also gets a mine drop in. That does end up dealing a fair amount of damage. Do we have blink yet? No. Straight into charge here for Nina. The double drop moves out across the map. Stops temporarily. All got spotted by this observer though. So Nina immediately gets into position to try and snipe this. If she does end up sniping this, that could be a huge issue. +1. What is this? 80% done as well here. Concussive shell. 7 out of 43. Let's see if the Stalkers are going to be capable of doing it. Yes, Stalkers get a snipe, and Kelazhur with a response that is just slightly too slow. Needs to stim back home right now, but this is not it. Colossi once again going in, as we see some quick play here out of Nina. Wants to get perhaps a couple more SCVs, not quite going to get it. Third base is up right now. Nina, by the way, still not in a great economical spot. The problem just is that Kelazhur didn't even start his third base yet. Which means that Nina is just going to be fine on these 51 workers and the 3 bases. A little bit behind in income, but it's not the biggest of deals. Kelazhur floating a fair amount of money right now, as well as the game has been a little bit chaotic. And the third CC should go down on position right now. Yep, there we go. 2 Vikings are out here. And honestly, well, Kelazhur should just be trying to finish the game here with the upcoming push. I'm having a difficult time seeing Kelazhur go into a longer game. I mean, even supply at this point, but there is 5 tanks. 2 Vikings on the map as well will help with this push. Medevacs fly a bit too far forward as Nina's gonna try to engage into this position. I don't think that is quite possible. Disruptor will take out the tank. Just barely getting that kill. Not the greatest force field there. As these Vikings are trying to snipe a prism, will not quite succeed. The observer gets back home, might be a bit of an F2 move as well. Feels very F2-ish, at least to me. I'm surprised to see this back. Yeah, there we go. It's gonna get sent back right now, so definitely was an F2 move. Nina, of course, having complete vision of these tank positions, will be able to send out a disruptor shot. Only getting attacked by a single tank there, meaning that disruptor shot will go off on that tank, and one more disruptor shot there will kill it. Sadly for Nina, that's not going to be the case, as there's no second disruptor. Now tries to engage into this tank position. Disruptor flies forward, hits 2 tanks at the same time. There's 1 more disruptor added into the mix right now, getting us to a total of 2. 2 Colossi, 2 disruptor, Templar Archives on the way, blink, as well as 1-1. So a lot of money in being invested right now into things that aren't quite helping Nina right off this moment. Prism also making its way across the map for some potential harass. This disruptor is going to kill 1 tank, and the zealots are flying forward. We'll get the other, well, 3 tanks actually. And with blink not quite being done, this drop into the main base could be a little bit tricky to deal with, but maybe Kelazhur doesn't want to risk it. No, Kelazhur will not risk it, will not finish that drop, and instead just heads back home. Nina up currently 20 supply in a pretty commanding lead here. 2 Colossi, 1 disruptor as tech units. There's 2 tanks at home as this drop actually enters the main base in the end. All the units are very low though. Of course, no upgrades for Nina means that pure gateway units isn't going to cut it against this, even if these units are very low. We'll need to see another pickup as one medevac gets taken out, the other one will survive. Kelazhur gets a decent trade, but Nina still in the lead. The moment the 1-1 finishes up, I believe her position is going to improve drastically here as well. Archon's being warped in, another Colossi on the way, which will bring the total up to 3, which is what we're currently at. Bunch more Templar is being warped in as well, are being warped in. And immediately we see the continued upgrades here, at least the armor upgrade immediately being researched. We have 2 medevacs moving towards the far right side. I'm not quite sure what they're going to be doing, but they seem to have some type of plan. Well, no, I'm just gonna get rallied into the dead space for now. This observer is seeing everything here, right? Yeah. Perhaps a small split off of the army could prove to be enough here to kill this drop. I mean, this is what, 3 shots from a stalker. The rest on the ground can be killed by 2-3 zealots. So would be 10 supply to pick off about 10 supply as well. I think that's a good trade. Especially if you know that Kelazhur is just staying at home for now. Doesn't feel comfortable moving on the map. And actually is going into a very, well, kind of passive type of playstyle here. Prism is going to get spotted and will also get shot. 10 supply down the drain. And these are the small wins that Kelazhur needs. Kelazhur is going to need 5-6 more wins like this if he wants to win this game. Nina kind of expanded sneakily as well. I like that. Going in a line rather than taking this base or the forward base. I think this is the most common one. This does allow her to kind of use this forward base as a kind of a jump pad. Make sure that you can immediately launch your attack onto this third base. Kind of the defensive move out to ensure that there are no drops. At the same time, really just launches an attack on the third base of the opponent as well, which makes it very comfortable to play. There's nothing that can go around on that far right side with that pylon, which is very smartly placed as well. Good map vision, honestly. Good usage of observers. Good usage of this little run by. And this run by does 2 things, right? It forces units back. Oh, okay, that was bad. That was really, really bad. Did like the idea there, but I don't like losing all of these units for free, obviously. Another run by immediately gets sent out, but I don't think that's enough zealots to deal with that left side. What I was gonna say is that what it does is it forces the left side army of the Terran to go back home. That means that you have way more time to carefully execute your attack on the right side. And I really do believe that Nina wants to fight there, and I think she should be fighting as well right now. You see the zealots connecting with the marauders here. Stalkers blinking forward. No pickup here out of Kelazhur, who's going to continue fighting with these 2-2 upgrades against 2-2, and actually will get a pretty decent trade as well. That does surprise me. One zealot gets taken out, second zealot gets taken out, but this army should die with the help of the battery. I don't think there's too much that Kelazhur can do here. Meanwhile, Nina still kind of moving around the map, trying to find an angle to deal some damage. The process has been slow though, and I feel like she's kind of lost her timing. The tank count has risen steadily, and that was a really bad fight. That is an absolutely terrible fight. Oh, big disruptor hits though in the end there. Kind of saving that for Nina. Kelazhur kind of overcommitting. I mean, if you have 30 supply and tanks in the back, perhaps don't try to fight too far away from those. Now Nina once again is pushing forward. One more tank is sieging a little bit forward to get that zone further away from the third base. 2 Vikings will be able to take out these 2 final Colossi as well, I do believe. Yep, 2 Colossi will go down. Here comes another disruptor shot, but Kelazhur will keep all of his units alive. Nina in the superior position currently. More workers, more income. 3-3 is on the way as well. An army that has a lot of potential. Kelazhur really sitting on an army right now that, well, is sitting. This is an army that's never going to move out across the map with 9 tanks. More tanks in production. +1 vehicle weapons is done. So is the ghost upgrade, the enhanced shockwaves. Which means that most likely we are going to be seeing some type of ghost play in the future. Cloak also being researched right now, but I think just adding 2-3 ghosts would be good enough. Cloak not really a necessity at this point, but having those ghosts to EMP potentially. I mean, this is an army that relies very heavily on shields. There's no real base in this army. There's 1 Colossi, no Immortals. Then there's 4 Archons, which is going to provide the majority of the tanking. At the same time, Nina, I'm not quite sure if she spotted this. I'm not sure if the Zealot spotted it. It's the first question perhaps that we should be asking. Nina's gonna attack into this tank position. Will barely not take out that left side tank. I think EMPs would be so useful here. Sadly for Kelazhur, not a single EMP is around. First Ghost is about to pop out right now though. Kelazhur with this drop on the right side of the map wants to take out this base. Not going to be capable of doing that as the super battery helps out. So then of course is the nuclear battery. So it's about as powerful as a nuke, only defensively. 2 medevacs are going to return back home. And once these medevacs join up with the main army, perhaps Kelazhur wants to get a little bit more aggressive on the map. And not necessarily because he believes that he's in some type of lead or that he can push, but actually to make sure that Nina stays off his back. Because the moment Nina starts fighting right now, I don't actually see good trades happening here for Kelazhur. And that's an issue. And Nina is fighting with about half her army, which I don't think is going to be sufficient. So you still see about 12 supplier on the right side. There is way more workers as well. Nina does need to be careful. This is an army that is very vulnerable to EMPs. And all of these units could die very quickly if she decides to run in here. I would much prefer seeing a more stalker-focused army. At this point, EMPs are hitting. Tanks not really in range to help in this fight, though. 1 tank, big disruptor shot is going to hit Kelazhur, losing a huge chunk of supply there. At the same time, Nina also losing a fair amount of units. Bit of a zealot run by towards that 3rd base. Means that Kelazhur is forced to lift that. Kelazhur trying to hold on, trying to hang in there. But it's becoming more and more difficult as Nina takes base after base right now up to base, what is this, 7? Yeah, it's base number 7. Base 8 being taken as well at the same time. Kelazhur slowly but surely crawling towards his own 5th. Down in workers, but supply is very close. Disruptor count is still at 4. Oh, but perhaps with a couple of big EMPs. Gets 1 disruptor and another disruptor is extremely low. Ghost tries to go in for the snipe, but doesn't quite get it. Observer will provide some vision here for Nina. Perhaps from the low ground can just actually take out a couple of these mules with these Colossi. Tanks are going to be caught slightly out of position, and I think this tank threat can... Ooh. What? What's that tank relocation? It's not quite what you want here, Kelazhur, let me tell you that much. Zealots are going to come in for a flank. Not the greatest flank, but 2 tanks will go down. 2 more disruptor shots going in will take out another tank. Planetary, of course, as an anchor for this army here. We'll make sure that the army will capable of at least holding this position. A little bit of a repair on that planetary would not be a luxury. At the same time, we have another zealot run by in towards the 3rd base. 8 more workers go down. Kelazhur is getting pulled apart here by zealot run bys and the main army. Overall resources lost extremely close, but the mining has been in favor here of Nina this entire game already. There's 15 gateways. Oh, Colossi is getting rallied straight into the opponent's front line. It's not quite what you want with a Colossi, but it does end up happening. DTs now being added into the mix as well. Kelazhur is in a world of trouble. A couple of zealots moving in towards the natural, DTs towards the 3rd. At the same time, the main army zoning out these tanks and the bio with the disruptor shots. Planetary gets focused down as another disruptor shot flies forward. Will not catch any of the bio, but I don't even think it's going to be necessary. Army supply still very close. Kelazhur is fighting. He's fighting for his life. He believes that if he can get back into the game, that he can win in a long one. But I'm not so sure anymore. He does not have the medevac count, does not have the supply, does not have the economy either, as I think this might just be the final push. Disruptor shots hitting the own units. GG, well played, get called as Nina wins this game here on Hardwire. Kelazhur with a poor start, not quite able to come back into this game. Cool little Colossi drop we did see though. That's going to be it for me today. Thanks all so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And hopefully I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and bye-bye.